do is to listen to the broadcast of the time break. If there's a lockdown on that to go, the court is usual. This is why I say that a bit there.
Into the line, he is pulling the bell. For all the 8 rounds, she's letting in action. Round 1.
Well, the time for talk is over. Our Commonwealth clash between the Terror and Nick Tetores out of the blue corner and the Great White Shark, Jenk Behic, out of the red corner. Michael Chavello here, along with Australian Cruiserweight Muay Thai champion Mark the Hammer Castanini, calling all the shots at ringside. Incredible anticipation here amongst the crowd at the St Albans Indoor Sports Complex. A capacity crowd here to see this one. Perhaps the most even super welterweight contest we've seen for a long time.
Well, Nick Tetores certainly looking focused and on his game tonight, Michael. From what I've seen, he's caught some kicks high and traded some kicks high himself. And he'll need to be right on his money to match it with the like of Jenk Behic, who is certainly one of the best fighters of '97.
Well, Tetores has come out very strong indeed. He is very efficient in the hands department, in particular Nick Tetores. Jenk Behic, of course, one of the more spectacular fighters. That spinning hook kick took the words right out of my mouth. I said he's spectacular, and Jenk Behic can pull a rabbit out of the hat like that at any time. There's an axe kick for you.
And that's why the crowd love him, Michael, because he'll take the risk and he'll throw the stuff that people pay money to see.
That's why they call him the Playboy, the leader of Australian kickboxing's next generation, the Great White Shark, Jenk Behic. But he'll have his work cut out for him tonight against the Terror Nick Tetores. Tetores has been around for so long. Talking to him in the weeks leading up to the fight, he said that he was going to take Jenk Behic to school tonight and teach him a lesson.
Certainly Nick and his brother Jim Tetores have been leaders in the kickboxing in Victoria and indeed Australia for several years now. These guys have certainly established themselves over the time, and tonight it's the old generation somewhat taking on the new generation. It'll be interesting to see how these two warriors take to each other in the ring here tonight.
Sunday, October 5, for Telling Sonic Show. It'll be 2 o'clock at the Columbia Coliseum, Park Street, West Brunswick. Round 2.
Referee Dave Hedgecock gets us underway in the second round of action for the Commonwealth Super Welterweight crown. The Great White Shark, Jenk Behic, and the Terror Nick Tetores. Tetores just moving in with the right hook, followed by a leg kick. Trying to plant that right round kick to the ribs of the Great White Shark. Lines up a couple of high right round kicks to the head, but Tetores was well guarded up against them.
Just in these 2 rounds, for this 1.5 round, Tetores has caught at least half a dozen kicks on the gloves on his left-hand side. Those big right roundhouse kicks coming out from Jenk Tetores have been caught with a double hand block there by Nick, and that means to say that Dana and all the boys at Fitzroy Stars have been doing their homework with Nick Tetores. Likes of sparring Chris Allen, Evan Pascalidis has certainly paid off. He's putting it together well, Nick, to date, and nullifying a lot of Jenk's more flashy techniques. I think Jenk's going to have to go to work, burrow in, and put in a more tradesman-like effort rather than his usual showy self. He's going to really have to burrow in and push Nick and try and work the power rather than the more spectacular techniques that he is renowned for.
Comments from the Australian Cruiserweight Muay Thai champion Mark the Hammer Castanini. Of course, the main concern about Tetores coming into this fight was perhaps ring rust. We haven't seen him since last September when he went the distance with Thai legend Runikong on an Ultimate Promotions card. Behic slamming 2 successive kick, punches him there with the left hand. Tetores goes down. Pandemonium is erupted again here in St Albans. He caught him that time, Mark the Hammer, with the left hand.
He certainly did, Michael. That is where Nick has been taken down. He's been clipped on the chin. He's going to have to keep his guard up and not get careless when he gets into those flurries with the hands, because Jenk Behic, his timing is certainly one of his strong points. As we've just seen, he caught Nick sweetly, and that was well timed and perfectly executed there by Jenk Behic, and his crowd, his home crowd, is certainly getting right behind him and loving it.
We're underway in the third round of action. The Great White Shark, Jenk Behic, ended the second round with the knockdown. Can the Terror Nick Tetores come back from it and deliver a good third round?
Nick Tetores, the original southpaw slugger, going to work now. So is Jenk in the corner there.
That's a furious flurry over in the neutral corner. Jenk Behic lets loose with a spinning back kick. Didn't quite find the mark. The crowd going crackers again here at the St Albans Indoor Sports Centre. This matchup is everything we anticipated it would be and more. Ultimate Promotions, Johnny Sheeder, Paul DeMacaulay have done it again. And third man, the legend Dave Hedgecock there to make sure it's all kept nice and clean. Jenk just checks the low kick. Tetores goes with a body rip. Nice front kick there off the left leg by Tetores. Tetores trying to move in, work those killer hands of his. Hands of steel, Nick Tetores. Jenk almost connecting that time. Fires that axe kick, just not enough muster behind it though, Mark.
He's got to be careful, Jenk, throwing those axe kicks. If he's going to drop them, he's got to drop them with a lot more power. There's no use putting on the display here. This is business. Fighting someone like Nick Tetores, you don't want to give him the advantage by putting a leg up in the air and putting a display on for people. He's got to burrow in and just go for the hard line techniques. That's what's going to get him through here. The flashy stuff is not what is going to pay off for him.
Mark, does Jenk want to trade hands with Nick Tetores, or does he want to use his legs more to rake up the points?
Well, so far he's showing that he can trade hands with him. Of course, he got the count on him, and that means that he's equipped to do that, and that's exactly what he should be doing, going for the hard line stuff, just burrowing in and seeing who will come out on top. But Nick Tetores certainly knows he's in the war, and Jenk Behic certainly, what a graduation, what an initiation into the pro ranks this will be for him if he can pull this one out.
Let's get it on in the fourth round of action. The Great White Shark and the Terror Nick Tetores. The Shark opening up with a high right round kick to the head of the Terror. Another one looking to take the Terror's head off. Oh, connects there nicely with the left hand, did Jenk.
Tetores' just guard is a little low. He's going to have to hold his guard a little higher, because one of those left hooks will certainly catch him if that lead hand of his drops too low when they get in and engage in those close quarter combinations.
As Mark said earlier on, a merging of the two generations, the old guard, Nick Tetores, against the leader of the new generation, Jenk Behic. Tetores just working that probing left hand, goes downstairs, thumping the leg kick to the outside right thigh. They're going blow for blow, toe to toe in centre ring at the moment. Plenty of instruction being yelled to Nick Tetores by trainer of champions Dana Goodson.
Certainly both fighters opting for throwing the hooking or looping punches, and I think in order they would have to be something straight off the chin, right through the guard of the opposing fighter. As Jenk sneaks in a little right hand hook there.
Well, of course it was the straight left that caught Tetores earlier on in the fight. Oh, slapping leg kick, you could hear that one reverberate across the St Albans Indoor Sports Complex. Tetores just dancing around the ring, waiting for an opening. He said this one won't go the distance. Pre-fight comments, he said he put the lights out on the Shark. But I tell you what, it'll take a lot to put the lights out on the great white Jenk Behic. Lines up for the spinning hook kick, decided against at the end of the 4th round of action. Mark the Hammer, how did you see that one?
Well, the fight's now starting to get into a much more even pace rather than the flurries up and down. It's starting to even out here, and both boys digging in, and it's just going to be a survival of the fittest. It's still fairly close. I think Jenk's work rate is fairly good and fairly high, but Nick is trying to place his shots a lot more carefully. He doesn't want to expend a lot of energy. He knows he's got to do the 8 rounds, and he doesn't want to burn out too early. Plus, I think he'd still be guarding himself quite closely because of that count he took earlier. He doesn't want to be doing anything silly.
Let's rumble in the 5th round of action. This for the super welterweight Commonwealth title. Behic just launching that high right round kick to the head. Sweat flying off the brows of both fighters. Tetores just looking for that big left hand put away. That's seen him put the lights out on a number of opponents in the past. He's gone up against the big names, amongst them world champions Tibet Hamza and Marcus Mangan.
Tetores is ready always to catch that right roundhouse kick of Jenk. I feel he's got to set it up a little, disguise it maybe, if he's to effectively throw that roundhouse kick to the head of Nick Tetores, because Nick Tetores has certainly switched on to it, and Jenk will have to maybe set it up with a front kick or something before he throws it, rather than just throwing it on his own.
Behic, a small flurry from him over in the blue corner, and connects with a late blow there off the left hand, and a stern warning from the Rock Dave Hedgecock for that late blow. Tetores just trying to line him up with those fists. Whips up the high right round kick to the head. And there's one off the left for good measure as well. Well done by the Terror. Jenk finds the mark with the right hand. Tetores backs him against the ropes. Moves in, a body rip off the right hand from Tetores. Staying mobile, just flicks up the nice high right round kick, then goes downstairs to the legs.
Tetores using a lot of lateral movement as he takes a bit of a trip down. Jenk takes out his supporting leg as he kicked there, but Tetores certainly using great ring savvy, moving around, not getting bailed up in any corners or letting Jenk get too much on the focus. That's what you have to watch out for when you have a high kicker. You don't want him to get a plant on you or get a fix on you, because as soon as Nick gets flat-footed and stands there, you can bet that Behic will certainly unload with one of those powerful kicks of his, and that is the danger zone that he doesn't want to be in.
We're into the 6th round of action. Behic opens it up with an inside leg kick. Oh, beautiful soaring right round kick to the head by the great white shark, Jenk Behic. It took the starch right out of Nick Tetores. Tetores just trying to slug him with the hands, connects down with a beautiful straight left hand. Jenk goes down and receives his first count of the fight.
As Behic gets a count, the crowd is not happy about it. It's going to cost him the round, no doubt, unless he can get it back.
Well, it was a similar punch to what Behic caught Tetores on earlier on in the fight.
They're a count each as we move through this fight. Both fighters are a count each, so it's going to come down to pure technique now.
It'll come down to technique. It'll come down to the excellence of execution of these two men. Both are superb technicians.
Or indeed will someone be able to land another one flush. The big evener has just happened as Jenk Behic has caught a count himself. Here he goes to work in the corner now.
They're trading body blows and high kicks. A spinning hook kick there by Jenk Behic came close, but no cigar. They're letting it all fly, pulling out all the stops over in the red corner.
It'll only take for one of those spinning hook kicks to land, and it certainly will take its toll on the Tetores. But so far, Jenk's had not a lot of luck. He's going to want to stop ducking his head.
Jenk just whipping up that high right round kick. Tetores going downstairs, barrels in with the left hand, tries to line him up with a big thumping left.
Tetores just measuring off. He had the big left hand there poised and loaded. Just was all he was looking for was the opening, but it never came.
End of the 6th round, Mark the Hammer. That was the evener you said earlier
Well,
on.
that was the evener. This one is certainly shaping up into the great fight that it has been billed to be. Pound for pound, the best two welterweights in the country. Well, certainly they're showing that, every bit of that here tonight, and it has been a crackerjack fight. Certainly no one will walk away disappointed.
Let's roll with the 7th round of action. The Great White Shark against the Terror. What a fantastic fight we've seen so far. The crowd on the edge of their seats. A slamming inside leg kick by the Terror, Nick Tetores. Jenk trying to come over the top with his hands. This has been Behic's toughest test of his career so far. Connects there with the right hand. Tetores connects on the way down with the right round kick.
Behic just stating that Tetores let a kick go when he was down on one knee.
Behic just trying to line him up with that high right round kick.
He's putting everything into it here, Jenk Behic, and it's causing him to lose his footing a little. It's all on the line, and he's throwing everything at Nick Tetores.
Big clubbing right hand by Behic. Didn't quite find the mark. Tetores just peppers away with his lead hand and then fires the big left hand. Planted him like a tree with that one.
Straight left, right up the middle. It's what we called earlier, Michael. Those straight hands will come through the guard. And unfortunately for Jenk, that one will get him another 8 count as Tetores goes to work on the body and comes upstairs to the head.
That's 2 knockdowns in successive rounds for the Great White Shark, Jenk Behic. The tide may have turned. Could it be the beginning of the end? Tetores storming home nicely at the moment.
Jenk doesn't want to get bailed up on those ropes because that is the comfort zone for Nick Tetores. He'll just bail him up and the ropes are in the corner. He'll go to work, body and head.
He caught him again with that straight left hand, Mark. Tetores now going to work against the ropes with those uppercuts. There's the end of the 7th round of action. Another round there for the Terror.
Well, that was certainly Nick Tetores' round. But Jenk Behic must have a jaw made of cast iron because he's certainly taken some good shots to the body and to the face area, and he's still there for the duration of this fight. But Nick Tetores is certainly switching it on now as we get into the later rounds of this fight. He's certainly finding his feet, so to speak, and his hands, and working everything in well, using the ring, sucking the air up, not letting himself get too tired, and then when it gets onto the ropes, well, that's his comfort zone, and Nick Tetores is just going to work on Jenk Behic in that area.
All the talk, all the training, and the waiting has all come down to this, the 8th and final round of action for the Commonwealth title. Jenk Behic needs a knockdown in this round to even it up. Barrels into the body of Tetores, but that midsection of Tetores is rock solid.
An elated Fitzroy Stars and blue corner. They can sense a victory here, but it's not over until the final bell. We've seen some huge turnarounds on previous Ultimate promotion shows. This could or could not be another one.
Just peppering away with the left hand, the Terror Nick Tetores. Jenk says, come on, it takes more than that to put me down. But Tetores says, if you want more punishment, boy, I've got it to give to you.
It's certainly not what Jenk wants to be doing, because all he's going to be doing is letting Tetores get more and more points on him. He's going to be in there working. We all know he's a tough customer, Jenk Behic, and he doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. He's just got to get in there and try for that win.
A nice high left round kick before the last one found the mark by the terror Nick Tetores. Jenk Behic, the excellence of execution, needs to pull something out in this final round of action. Fires with a nice right hand, just not enough mustard behind it.
Well, maybe it's the fact that Nick Tetores is a southpaw has thrown Jenk Behic's timing out a little here tonight. And an excellent hook there, lead hook coming off from Jenk Behic.
Jenk bringing home the bacon in the final straight of this round. The crowd have gone absolutely bananas here at St Albans. Can the Great White Shark connect with one of those left hooks? Can he put the lights out on the terror Nick Tetores? Tetores is bringing it home. That's the end of the 8th and final round of action. That's the end of the Commonwealth clash. This one, Mark the Hammer, has gone down to the judges yet again.
Well, it's gone down to the judges. The 8 counts, it would seem, would determine the result. But who knows? Who knows indeed how the judges will score it on their own individual cards. Whatever way you look at it, it's been a great fight. And these two boys certainly deserve a standing ovation. And I certainly will be a fight to remember for a long, long time. They both deserve full credit for an excellent effort, one of the best fights that has been seen in this country for a long time now.
Mark the Hammer, as we said earlier on, emerging into the generations, the old generation, the old lion, Nick Tetores, against the young tiger, Jenk Behic.
Well, two very different fight styles. A much more nuggety fight style of Nick Tetores versus the much more flashy and fluent style of Jenk Behic. In the end, the judges will distinguish the difference in styles and result. But as I've said, hats off to both these guys. Excellent fighters, excellent show of courage and display of technique from both men.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Dennis said, it's the fight of the year. After 8 rounds of kickboxing, we have a new Commonwealth Super Welterweight Champion. We congratulate by unanimous points, the Terror, Nick Tetores! New Commonwealth Champion.
Well, there you have it, Mark. A unanimous decision going the way of the terror Nick Tetores. The old lion overcoming the young tiger. What a fantastic finale for Nick Tetores.
Well, what an absolute battle. And if you're watching this at home, you've just seen one of the greatest kickboxing fights that we've seen in a long time, and a well-deserving winner. It was always going to be close, but in the end, Nick Tetores just getting over the line, and to use a horse racing term, just taking it by a nose. And commiserations to Jenk Behic, but he'll be back, and he's certainly, as I said, one of the most exciting prospects and one of the busiest and best fighters of '97.
Tell you my time remember what meant. We'll start to thank the crowd. Thank you everyone, thanks for coming and supporting me. I'd like to thank everyone who wants to support Kickboxing. I'd like to thank my trainers, my family, all behind me. Nick, thanks for the fight of my life, thanks for that. I needed that, taught me a lesson. Hopefully I can go back to the gym. Where's the camera? I can't see where the camera is there. Alright. Yeah, hopefully I can go back to the gym and taught me a big lesson. And then let's come back stronger, and maybe next time we do you proud. Thanks a lot.
The Red Black Shark, Jenk Behic. Nick, another Commonwealth Championship. This is hard when you make judge over with me. Muay Thai.
This is one of the toughest, but you better give it that. Coming here and fighting with the youngster, not much younger than me, but with his experience and stuff, he gave me a tough fight. I'd like to thank him and give him all the best in the I put a lot of work into this, so I just want to mention a few people that helped me along the way. As far as I like to think, my business partner, Bill Tetores, giving me time off work, the champ, and a special thanks to Arthur Malagas. Also, my manager, I want to dedicate this one to, who couldn't be here today. But that's Nick Matthews. I'd like to dedicate this one to him and thank Pat for putting this show together and reporting to the sky. Also, I'd like to thank people that helped me in the gym, like Nick Tetores from Melbourne, Feature Stars. We put it all together. I'd like to thank Michael Wilson, my naturopath, for getting me spiritually, mentally, physically ready. Also, if I've forgotten anyone, I'm very sorry, but everybody, I like to see us all the after party. I'll be happy to see us all there. And also, my sponsors, my sponsors for years helped me a lot. And also, AST, Research, and thank you very much, everybody.
Well, there you have it, Mark the Hammer Castanini, the end of a fantastic night of action brought to us by Ultimate Promotions. What a fantastic main event. The Great White Shark, Jenk Behic, the Terror, Nick Tetores, 8 rounds of hardcore action, and in the end, the unanimous decision going the way of the Terror, Nick Tetores.
Well, as Dana stated, Nick Tetores' trainer, Jenk Behic, didn't lose a fight tonight. He certainly learnt a lot from it, and you can expect to see him improve out of sight. He's already had a great year, 97, and you can bet that he's only going to get better from here. It was a great fight, one that will be long remembered, and I certainly enjoyed it. It'll be something that I will long remember as one of the great fights that these two guys have put on in a long time.
There you have it, folks. The Great White Shark, Jenk Behic, going down on a unanimous decision, but not a loser, a learner, as Dana Goodson said, against the Terror, Nick Tetores, for the ISKA Commonwealth Super Welterweight title. From myself, Michael Chevello, and my verbal sparring partner, Mark the Hammer Castanini, thank you for joining us ringside, and we look forward to the pleasure of your company again next time on our next Ultimate Promotions. Good night.
Good night.